They thought no one was watching. They thought the cameras had stopped recording. But in that fleeting moment, Lee Min-ho and Kim Go-eun revealed something so tender, so genuine, that it left fans speechless. Is the story of the sweetest moment caught between them, a moment that wasn't scripted, wasn't staged, and wasn't meant for the world to see. It all began on the set of The King, Eternal Monarch. The atmosphere was buzzing, crew members moving equipment, the director checking his notes, lighting assistants rushing to adjust angles. The scene had just wrapped. Everyone assumed filming was over. Actors were relaxing, the tension of their roles slowly fading into their natural selves. And then it happened. Lee Min-ho, still in his royal costume, looked over at Kim Go-eun. She was laughing with a staff member, her smile brighter than the studio lights. But Min-ho's eyes lingered a little too long. He wasn't Lee Gon, the king of a parallel universe anymore. He was simply Min-ho, a man quietly captivated. Kim Go-eun must have felt his gaze, because she turned, catching him mid-stare. Instead of looking away, instead of pretending, she smiled, softly, knowingly. The kind of smile you reserve for someone who already has a place in your heart. And Min-ho smiled back. But this wasn't a polite co-star smile. It wasn't for the cameras. It was tender, personal. The cameras weren't supposed to be rolling, but one angle, left accidentally recording, captured it all. The way Min-ho reached forward, brushing an invisible strand of hair from her face. The way Go-eun leaned closer, her laughter softening into something almost affectionate. The way the world seemed to blur, as if they had stepped out of the set and into their own little universe. Fans would later describe it as a moment of truth, a glimpse behind the curtain. Because in that split second, there was no acting, no script, no stage, just two people, lost in each other. And it wasn't the first time. On multiple occasions, staff members whispered about how Min-ho and Go-eun lingered near each other, even when the director had already called cut. How their conversations stretched longer than needed, filled with laughter and private smiles. How Min-ho, normally reserved on set, always seemed lighter, brighter, when Go-eun was by his side. But this moment was different. This wasn't hearsay. This wasn't fan speculation. This was proof. Proof that, behind the cameras, something deeper was unfolding. As the clip quietly circulated among the crew, whispers grew louder. Did you see that? Was that real? Are they more than co-stars? For fans, the video was nothing short of magical. Because they weren't just watching Lee Min-ho and Kim Go-eun. They were witnessing a connection. Too raw to be manufactured. The glance, smile, all unscripted, all unplanned, and yet undeniably powerful. And isn't that what makes love so beautiful? It doesn't always arrive with grand gestures or perfect timing. Sometimes it shows up in the smallest ways, in a look held a little too long, in a smile meant for no one else, in a touch so gentle it feels sacred. The sweetest part of this story isn't just what the cameras caught. It's what it revealed. Because beyond the glitz of stardom, beyond the carefully curated public images, Min-ho and Go-eun found something real, something worth cherishing, even if the world wasn't meant to see it. Over the months, fans pieced together more clues. Matching outfits at press events, playful exchanges during interviews, subtle moments where Min-ho's protective side emerged, making sure Go-eun was comfortable and cared for. And each time, that unscripted moment returned to people's minds. Because once you've seen the truth, you can't unsee it. They thought the cameras weren't rolling. But maybe that's what makes it so special. Because what they shared in that quiet second wasn't for fame or for fan service. It was theirs, pure, unrehearsed. And yet, the world was lucky enough to witness it. Imagine this. After a long day of filming, the crew packs up. The director calls it a wrap. The stage empties, but Min-ho and Go-eun linger behind. They sit together, shoulder to shoulder, the silence between them comfortable, like two people who no longer need words. And though no one else is watching, Though the cameras are finally off, they look at each other and smile. Because in that moment, they aren't actors. They aren't celebrities. They're just Min-ho and Go-eun, two souls who found each other when no one was supposed to be looking. And perhaps that's the sweetest moment of all. They thought the cameras weren't rolling. But love doesn't need a stage. It reveals itself quietly, in the in-between, in the pauses, in the glances no one else was meant to catch. And sometimes, those are the moments that stay with us the longest. Because they remind us that love, real love, can never truly be hidden. The world often forgets that behind every actor's smile, behind every scripted line, there are real people. And sometimes, when the cameras are turned away, when the bright lights dim just enough, we catch a glimpse of something far more genuine than any performance could ever capture. That was the case with Lee Min-ho and Kim Go-eun. When fans replayed the behind-the-scenes clip, they couldn't believe what they saw. It was subtle, almost hidden, but undeniable. The way Lee Min-ho's eyes lingered on her, not with the intensity of a scene, but with the tenderness of someone who truly cared. The way Kim Go-eun's laughter was softer, freer, as if she was no longer acting, but simply being herself. And then, that small, unscripted moment that would spark endless discussions online. Some fans described it as a brush of hands, others swore they saw him tuck a strand of hair behind her ear. When the cameras weren't meant to be filming, it was fleeting, so natural that it could have been missed. But when you slow the frame, when you look closely, the truth reveals itself. This wasn't acting. This wasn't staged. This was two people forgetting the world around them, even for a second, and choosing to share something quiet, something only theirs. For fans, this was more than just a behind-the-scenes clip. It was a confirmation of everything they had believed all along, that their chemistry didn't stop at the script, that their smiles weren't rehearsed, that perhaps Lee Min-ho and Kim Go-eun had found something rare, a connection too genuine to hide. Online forums erupted. "Did you see the way he looked at her?" one fan wrote. "Tell me that's acting." "I dare you," another commented. Clips spread like wildfire, slowed down, zoomed in, analyzed frame by frame. Every gesture, every glance, every subtle smile was dissected with love. And the conclusion fans kept reaching was the same. That moment was real. But here's what makes it so much more powerful. Lee Min-ho and Kim Go-eun weren't aware that the world would one day see this.